Alright, so from the last time I did a bit of refactoring. I'll show you in a bit what things I changed. But all in all, now we are able to run mostly without any bugs the http server in C. So let's say I try to do a curl, a slash, right? We get back all the files from this directory. I've tried from the browser, but some of the links don't work and I need to figure out why. Maybe the browser does something different than curl, because if I try to, let's say, just go to this folder and then try test.html, I get back the HTML. If I try the root folder, again it gives us the folder, and if I do like a simple file, we get back the text content. So yeah, I mean, pretty weird. I'm not sure why the browser doesn't work all the time. Maybe it needs some other requests other than the get request, and I'm not sure what it does. I mean, sure, if we go to localhost 8000 and we check for, I guess, network. Yeah, it's strange because it does only a get request. Maybe it's something in the headers that something breaks. But yeah, if I go to this folder, it just goes, it loads for some reason. So not sure why. So yeah, I'll try to figure that on my own. But no, like my idea was to make the curl request work. So that's pretty cool. Yeah, like expected. It's like whatever. I don't know what the browser does. So yeah, whatever. Let's check some things that I did. So I thought, well, let's try to make a request parse function and have a request structure. So now instead of just going with the simple strings and all of that, I try to build a request data structure. And if you worked with like Fast API or Node or like Express or other frameworks for backend, you might be familiar with this idea of a request structure. And yeah, I guess, trying to figure that on your own, how to build it and get the idea of creating this request parse function, I don't know, makes sense to me. So we get the kind of request, so it's get, post, we have like the verb in this field. Then we get the path of the request. So like, when you do the curl here, you add some path to it or something. So we have this path. Then the protocol is, just because when you do the curl request, it does that http 1.1 thingy. So I thought, okay, let's also save that. And yeah, I mean, if this evolves into like, being able to support post or something else, having the body of the request here would be cool. Having the headers might be an interesting idea. So yeah, I'll have to think what else can we add in this request field. And the parsing is basically just copy pasting the code from before and putting it into a separate function. And instead of just doing the actions based on what we had in the char pointer fields, we just build this request the structure. So we get it as an argument. So it's like, well, we imagine that it's already allocated, we don't have to do anything for it. So whenever we use it, we just fill in the fields. So here we fill in the kind. If the verb is a get, we make it a get request, right? And for, to make this parsing work, sure, we like, this is the easiest way of doing it. We don't do any lexing like complicated stuff. We just split by space, because we know the HTTP request always look the same. So it has the verb, then it has a space, then after that comes the path, then is another space, then comes the protocol, then it's a new line, then it's a list of the headers. But right now I don't really care about the headers. And after the headers we have another new line, and then the body of the request, if it's a post, or I guess if it's a put request also has a body. But yeah, like right now I don't think we care that much about the headers. Maybe we'll try to do it on a separate video just to see the idea of building this request, because I did this one like off camera. I thought that, yeah, I mean, just trying to do some refactoring. Maybe it's not that interesting for you, so like I think the basics are more important, and how you structure the code afterwards, it's up to you. So yeah. Then I have this read path function, which tries to build so yeah, because here we get the path, like it's a relative path, right, when you do this curl. So I thought, well, let's try to build like an absolute path and then read the file. And here maybe it's gonna be a bit interesting, because right now if it's just a simple file, we just read the contents as they are. So maybe if it's a PDF file, not sure how we are gonna do that. Maybe I have to look a bit into how http server works in Python. But right now we just read the file as it is and basically just send it. Right? And if it's a directory, so using this macro, yeah, we just build this HTML thing, and we get all the folder, like all the files in the directory, and yeah, basically just build the HTML. And sure, I also added a lot of error checking, so I think we should be good with the errors. I'll have to see, maybe there are some edge cases that I missed, and maybe a bit more descriptive errors could be better, but you know, that comes from just testing the tool more. So yeah, and if it's any other type of file, right now I'm not really sure how you handle that, but like simple files, read them, and directories, you build this HTML. So I don't think we need to support any other file, so yeah, whatever. And then in the handler request thingy, you know, we just read the request from the socket, right? Then we parse it, and then we read the file or the directory, depending on what it is, and then we just respond with the 200. And yeah, this one also, like the response looks kind of similar. It has the protocol, then the status code, then some headers, and here maybe another idea would be to have another data structure like request that we build, and we build it in C style, right? And then we have something like serialize for that structure, and that one builds this string, so we don't manually build it. So yeah, maybe we can try to do that one, like also do that one, right, to see like how you build that kind of structure and how you serialize it. That could be interesting, why not? And yeah, then in the main file, or I guess main function, we just do all the boilerplate for connecting sockets, and then the while true, where we handle the request. So what I thought to try to do today, because I haven't used that feature for a long time, from ds.h. So if we go to my GitHub and then ds.h, this is the library that I always keep on rambling about. We have the argument parser, and I think why not just use this argument parser to be able to have, let's say, the port, like change the port dynamically, let's say, not from code. Yeah, I mean, I think that could be fun, why not? So let's just go up here, let's define the argument parser. So now we can go here. Well, we need argc and charge star arg v like that. I think that should be good. So then we need the argparse parser. So parser, we have to initialize it. So to initialize the parser, we need the parser, name, description, version. Okay, that's interesting. Let's try to do that thing in the beginning. So parser, then we give it a name. So this would be http server, or I don't know how we are gonna call this tool. A clone of http.server in C, and then version. It's funny, I don't remember what I used those things for. I guess version is gonna be like 1.0 or something. I guess this stuff is just for the help menu, so yeah. Let's try to add some arguments. Right, so add argument. So here it's parser, and then we have to pass options. So I guess an easy way, like an easy way to do that would be to just check. I don't remember how you cast it. So we need things like this. Let's copy this structure and try to explain it. So we have the short name, which is, you know, when you pass something like this or like this, and then we have the long name, which is like port. All right. Some description. This one is for the help menu. Then it's a type, so we have some kind of type, and then we have if it's required or not. So let's try to add, because if you take a look at Python http server, does it have a help menu? It has positional argument for the port, which is a default thingy. So we could do like a positional argument that is optional, that works in the argparse tool. And then we have this directory, which we can also add. Oh, so protocol version. Interesting. Sure, there are a lot of things here, but I think like the port and maybe the directory are the only ones that are interesting for us. So yeah, let's try to add that. So it should be positional argument, right? So let's try to go through these things. So type is gonna be, actually I don't remember, you have to do dot, right? Let me just comment this thing out. So like type is important, required would be false, because we want the default value of 8000, and then I guess long name should be used, since it's long name could be something like port. Description, let's see what description do they have. Bind to this port. Yeah. Well, why not? Let's have it like this. And the short name is not important. I think it's not used, but let's just do something like P, just for the sake of doing it. So I think these are all the options so that we have the port. Then we can do ds argparse parse, and here we pass in the parser, so address of the parser, argc, argv, and this this returns like status code if it doesn't work, but let's pretend that it worked. And then we have something like argparse get value, right? So this one should give us a value for port, and here is like port value, let's say. And like if port value is equal to null, then we do the default 8000. So let's have here port is equal to 8000. Else we could do port is equal to a to integer of port value. And who here likes the ternary operator? I think that's more fun to use in this case. So value is equal to, like, people hate this thing, but I think it's fun to use sometimes. Like this, like it makes it a bit smaller. I think that the Python way of if else is much cleaner of writing this thing. So it's like in Python it's 8000 if port value is none, I guess. Else I think it's like this. I think it looks a bit more readable in Python than in C, but it is what it is. Well, no, I was thinking maybe you can do like a preprocessor macro, but it's a bit strange. Anyway, let's see if this thing works now. So let's do the GCC, then main, and we can just run it as it is. Well, let's do some logs though. So, here let's do port. Let's do some logs like ds log info, maybe after listening on port okay. I think this looks decent. If we recompile this thing, listening on port 8000, if we try to make the request here, it works, right? And what if we pass in 8001? It doesn't work for 8000, but for 8001 it works. That's cool. We can get the license and all of that. So yeah, that's pretty neat, right? Now it's gonna be interesting for directory, because if you maybe noticed, when I do read path, right, I get this get C current working directory, so I don't really have that as an argument. So we would probably need something like, okay, an extra path here, which is the path that you get from the arguments, and then this one is used here. So this function would need that, like a prefix. or I guess it's a suffix for C, like current working directory. I guess it's a suffix for that. So yeah, it depends on how you think about it. You know, it's a suffix for CWD, or it's a prefix for the path that you pass in the curl request. So you know, it is what it is. So yeah, like let's try to add directory like that. So just so we remember how to use argparse. So the short name should be d directory, I guess. Yeah, minus d. And in here it's serve this directory, okay. And default is basically nothing. So this one should be a value argument. So it's an argument like this. And required is 0 because it's not required. Okay, fair enough. So I guess base directory, I don't know how to call it. It's gonna be ds argparse get value and parser directory. So yeah, here you need to use the long name basically if that wasn't clear. So yeah, it could be null. That's fair. So let's just do directory value. I have a better idea. So then here we can create char star base directory, or I guess prefix directory is gonna be null. Right. Could make sense. I was just gonna look at this thingy. So it's gonna be something like if this directory is the directory value is null, then we just want current working directory in this thing, and if it's not null, we want pretty much the combination of both. So sure, it makes sense to get CWW before, just to have it, and then prefix directory is gonna be a combination of both of them. So yeah, let's just panic in case we don't get CWD, or yeah, makes sense, I guess. So man, I'm pretty sure I had a function in IO that combines paths, but maybe I don't. But I have string builder, so who cares, right? Anyway, let's do, I guess makes sense to have a string builder. So it's something like ds string builder directory builder, and then ds string builder init is gonna get directory builder, and this string builder append. Here we can append to directory builder. I guess safest way is to put something like this, and then here cwd. Right, fair enough. This, I guess this can fail, but not really, because I don't remember it failing. Yeah, it could fail. Whatever. I'll handle the error checkings myself. We are more interested by the logic of implementing all of that, so let's try to focus on the logic. So yeah, in this case, if directory value is not null, then directory this string builder append, as usual, directory builder, and here again, maybe it's more safe to do it like this. And why I say it's more safe is because here comes the string format. So if you pass %s, like a string that looks something like this, you can actually just leak memory, because here we don't have anything, so it takes stuff that's on the stack for the strings. So it's not a good idea to allow the user to inject stuff into format strings. Like yeah, no, makes sense. Anyway, so actually, do we want maybe to have a slash in here too? I think so, because yeah, I'm pretty sure the current working directory doesn't end with a slash, so we should add a slash here. Yeah, I mean, I think that if you do something like this, it still works. Like slashes get somehow squashed if there are multiple slashes, so it's not even an issue, but it is what it is. And then this string builder build, and here we pass in the address to the directory builder, and then I guess I called it prefix directory. Yeah, so the address to prefix directory. We use address here because this function takes in double pointer, because it also allocates the memory for us, so we don't have to worry about any mallocs. Sure, you should free it at the end, but right now we are not worried about freeing memory that much. It's decent. So listening on port, serving from %s. So here we can do prefix directory. And sure, right now, if we try it, so the x, let's say we serve from x, it says that it serves from x, but it's not really gonna serve from x because we do not use it yet. But if we don't do that, it's just gonna serve from here. So that's cool. Okay, how do we do that? Well, we add here prefix directory. Too many arguments, fair enough. So that means we have to pass in prefix directory, and let's see, I guess read path should also take in prefix directory. Right, maybe we put it as the first argument. So char pointer prefix, we'll do just prefix. So cwd is not needed, and here we can just say prefix. I think that should be all, right? So we have something like the prefix and then the path. Maybe even like here we could have combined them, but still works. makes it a bit more clear. Maybe I don't know. Let's just see. Like I mean I don't know. Could squash them together because it's like a read path. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. So if I do this thing and then curl it, we get all the files from here. If I do readme.md, we get the readme. If I do x and then test.html, we get the content. And if we serve from the x directory, we just get the contents, from there. Sure, it still has the it doesn't have it. Interesting. Not sure why though. Strange, because before doing the refactoring you were able to do stuff like go back in directories or stuff like that. That was funny. Yeah, whatever. So maybe if I do /x/double-dot, yeah, then it still does it. But I mean, I guess I'm pretty happy because you can specify the directory now. And I'm curious what else was there in the http server thingy. So version, I guess in my implementation, in building the response, where is that? Should be here. Yeah. So I hard coded the response. So maybe the idea is to get a version somehow from this thing, and instead of hard coding it, you just use whatever is here. That's working. I mean, that would be easy. Then the address, I guess I'm doing 000, right? So instead of passing it like this, the same thing as the port, you would have like a default 000. CJ, I have no idea what it is. And then help menu. Oh, that's right. Let's see the help menu, how it looks like. Well, I mean, it's funny. It does the options, right? I like this one more, but it's pretty hard to do it, in my opinion. So yeah, I mean, still decent, right? How my implementation of argparse looks like. And yeah, I mean, if you want to use argparse, bit of a demo here, a plug, you can just go to ds.h, take it. You saw today how to use it. I mean, sure, there, because I forgot how it works, right? Because it was a bit of like a long time since I last used it. It was like using it as a fresh user, so maybe I saw a bit some, let's not call them issues, but a bit of a learning curve to it. So maybe some things could be easier to get. I have to see how I can think about it. But yeah, I mean, argparse, it's extremely useful. Like, it makes your life really easy if you have a lot of arguments. Like, sure, I get it. In this case, I mean, since we also have directory, makes sense. But if we had only the port, then just looking at, argv1, seeing if it's there, that would be much easier. But since we also have the port and the directory, much easier to just slap this thing and it gives you all this description, like even the version, even the help menu. So yeah, much cleaner way, I would say, of handling the arguments if you implement your own parser for it. So yeah, I guess I'm happy with this result for now, and we'll see, because as I said earlier, I really want to try and build that structure for the response and then serialize it. So we'll see if we can do that in the next one, but until then, yeah, see you in the next one.